JR found us a great video illustrating some New York City residents that were victims of the 9/11 attacks. And as you can imagine, a lot of them were Muslim. So I really want you guys to watch the CBS report. I think it's telling, and you'll see both sides of this mosque argument.
I'm very proud of him that he's standing by all his citizens, irrespective of their faith and race and ethnicity.
Talat Hamdani's son died in the attacks rescuing others. Mohammed Salman was a 23-year-old EMT and New York City police cadet.
Are we not American? Did we not sacrifice? Are not Muslims on the line in Iran, in Iraq and Afghanistan?
Not against people practicing the religion. I just don't think it should be in the shadows of the World Trade Center.
Jim Rich's son, Jimmy, also died on 9/11. A New York City firefighter like his father, he lost his life saving others.
Move it 5 or 6 blocks away, whatever the location is. But this is right on overlooking Ground Zero. We think it's wrong.
All right, so again, you see both sides of the argument. And a lot of people don't consider the fact that a lot of Muslims died because of the 9/11 attacks. A lot of firefighters were Muslims who went in to save the victims of 9/11, and they lost their lives. And I love that CBS did that video because it shows you something that is very rarely talked about in the media.
Well, let me tell you a couple other stories about Muslims that died. Approximately 59 Muslims died on 9/11, and one of them was a guy who worked on Windows on the World. That was at the top of the World Trade Center. He was a waiter. He's trying to make a living. He's got a wife at home, and that wife was pregnant. And she had their son 48 hours after 9/11.
Oh, God.
And so there was another woman on one of the planes that crashed into 9/11. She was 7 months pregnant, and she was next to her husband. They're both Muslim, and they died. That was going to be their first child. And so when you equate all Muslims with Nazis, as Newt Gingrich did, with Al-Qaeda, as all of these right-wingers are, when they say they shouldn't build anywhere near Ground Zero, you're violating the memories of those Muslim Americans that died that day too. That they're not good enough. That it's offensive to pray to their religion in their mosque for them, not for 9/11 victims, and that we should, I guess, discriminate against their religion even though they died on that day. What more could they have done for the country? What other sacrifice did they have to make, did their families have to make for them to be counted as real Americans? I think if anyone should be offended by what's happening with this so-called controversy, it should be them and their families.
Absolutely.